Hello everyone, this is Shriyans, and today I'm making this video to tell you the state of mind of people during the end sem exams in Manipal, and I'll be talking a bit about how my exams went and how I prepared for the exams, and I'll display my scorecard somewhere. And I just want the freshers to know or to be prepared for a situation where you are sleep deprived and I won't spoil it too much. We'll just get to know when you watch the video. So let's go. I'll be talking about the subjects I had and I'll tell you how I prepared for each of them. So first subject was MOS, and this is not an order in which I wrote the exams. This is just a random order. First subject is MOS. I had a very friendly professor. He had a clarity on what he was speaking, so that made it very easy for us to understand what he was saying, and he had a great style of explaining the concepts and everything felt easy. MOS is a very basic subject. It is a civil engineering subject. If you I'll just break it down to you. If you know how to resolve vectors, then the first chapter is done. If you know how to find the sum of forces, like the resultant force and all, then your second chapter is done. And then there is a chapter about beams and all. So if you just know how to put the support reactions, so the normal reaction which comes from the ground, something from the wall, another chapter is done. If you know how to do the ladder problems in friction or the wedge problems in friction, then another chapter is done. And the last two chapters are a little tricky because those are the only sort of new ones. First one is strength of materials. Basically you have Young's modulus, bulk modulus, Poisson's ratio and all. So this is something which most of us have already studied for JEE. But the last chapter, thermal stresses, is the new one. That is the chapter which is usually introduced at the end, and like it's sort of right before the exam, so you need to work a little on that. All MOS is a very easy subject. I scored an A+ in the subject. And the way I prepared, well, this is something common for every subject. I just studied 1-2 days before the exam, and I still got decent grades, and I think the reason for that is because I was very attentive in classes. So just be attentive in class, listen to what the professors are saying, and it's already like your prep is done. All you have to do is just turn the pages and everything will feel like something you've already done before. And friction chapter as MOS was very easy for me. And before the exam, I'm not kidding, most of my time was spent on teaching others friction. So I didn't study much myself, I was teaching others. So if you listen in class properly, then you can do such kinds of things, and it is really cool when you teach others. So after MOS, it's BE, basic electronics. Probably I didn't expand MOS. MOS is mechanics of solids. BE is basic electronics. We had a very cool sir for BE. The subject, as my friend Pranay puts it, is either very easy or very tough. There is nothing in between. So electronics and electricals is something like that. It's either very easy for someone or it's very tough for someone. There is nothing intermediate. So this subject is usually tough for people because they don't develop the problem solving skills, they don't develop some critical thinking. So for example, a question in the exam would be like, if this is so and so inputs are given, input voltages, and so output is required, and the amplification factor for the given op-amp is something, then design a circuit. So it's a very simple question. All you have to do is understand the op-amp circuits, and you can just solve it in half sleep. But people don't understand the circuits. They try to remember the circuits. Like literally, if they ask how to draw an adder, so people will exactly draw an adder. V1, V2, R1, R2 and all will be exactly as is in the study material. So that is something you should avoid doing for subjects like electronics. Don't remember anything, just understand how the circuit is working, and everything should seem very simple. So again in B I got an A. I was expecting an A plus, but the last chapters, which is in digital electronics, B is basically a mixture of two, analog and digital electronics. So in digital, the last chapters, AM FM waves and some parts like that were left as a self study. So that I didn't touch up on much, and I left a solid 5 marker, I guess. So I got an A, or else I was hoping I would get an A plus after writing the exam. So that's for B. Then English, basically sleep. You don't have to study for English, because English is a very easy subject. They give you a list of texts which you have to understand. They have certain themes such as culture or science and technology, something like that, globalization, some themes like that, and you have to understand what the text is basically saying, what the author is trying to convey through the text. Once you understand that, then they ask you a general question. You don't have to write the summary of the text. You have to understand what's there in the text, and based on that, write what you think. So that is the purpose of English. And then math is basically, I am strong. Math is easy. Math is people found math tough. I'll tell you a stat. Out of I don't know, some 2,500 odd members or something like that, 1,400 people failed in math. I don't know why people failed in math, but it was a very easy subject. Math is something like you should be able to visualize a bit for double and triple integrations, because you'll be finding areas and volumes of 3D objects, so you should be able to visualize what it is. And usually that's all there is. Those are the tough chapters. And then there is Laplace and inverse Laplace and infinite series. Infinite series is very easy. Laplace and inverse Laplace is, if you practice 3-4 sums, then you'll be fine. Manipal has this cool feature where they give you a handbook. The handbook has every formula there is written in it, so you get a formula book for the exams. You just look at the formula, and if you apply, you will happily pass in math. Now I don't know what these idiots have done, but they failed and have some problem solving skills. So for math, I'll tell you something. If you're prepared strongly for JEE, if you think you've actually done an honest effort for JEE, you'll happily pass math. You'll happily ace the subject. It's fine. So because I'm not saying you already know what is being taught, but I'm saying you will have developed enough skill to understand and apply. So that is for math. And then there is I got an A plus in math, and I think I got an A in English. These two I didn't mention. And then there is BMA, Basic Mechanical Engineering. BMA was a nightmare for me because the subject had an overload of theory and not much of logic. So I'm the kind of person who understands and not remembers. BME required you to remember stuff. For example, the last chapters were something like operations of a lathe machine, the design of a lathe machine, what are the components of a lathe, molding, what is casting, what is forging, what are the different types of molding and casting, stuff like that. And it was a pretty big headache for me because I am not used to remembering stuff, and this was, as I said, it's just a nightmare. I got a C in BMA, and that was a disgrace because that is my lowest grade in my second semester. And well, I'll just skip BMA. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And then there is physics. Just sit tight, listen in class, you'll ace physics. Physics is very easy. The optics part, the wave optics, is usually taught. It is just a repetition of what you've already learned in 12th. You have Young's double slit experiment, you have Fraunhofer diffraction, you have the circular aperture resolutions, and then you have polarization. So all of this you've already learned in 12th if you've prepared seriously for JE. And quantum physics was there. Quantum physics and quantum mechanics. Basically, you have Schrodinger's equation. You use the Schrodinger's equation to solve a problem. It's called finite potential well and infinite potential well. Well, it will sound overwhelming if I tell you what it is, but trust me, it is very easy. Quantum physics was interesting but not tough. And I'll tell you this last chapter I didn't study properly, molecular physics, and there was a derivation in it. I just remember this is the only thing I actually had to remember for the exam because I couldn't make sense of it at the last moment. So I was remembering this derivation for the exam, and as I was as I was writing the exam, I forgot what the derivation was. So I put the integral, I knew the limits, I knew the function, and then I was sitting there and thinking. This was based on some Fermi energy. So I was just sitting there and thinking what the next step could be. And because I knew that there was an exponential function, I knew the graph of the exponential function. Then I tested out the limits. I saw how the function would vary in a rough manner if we went to one extreme of the limit, like the upper limit and the lower limit. And I analyzed the function a bit. Then I knew this part would become 0, and somehow finally I ended up at the right answer. I'm telling you, I felt like a scientist myself because it's almost like I've done the derivation on my own. And so now you know what actually helped me get good grades in the exam. It is basically the skill which I've developed wherein I can analyze stuff properly. So that's that. And in physics I got an A+. So these were my theory subjects, and for practicals you have engineering physics lab, I got an A+ in that. You have workshop, I got an A. And you have engineering graphics, I don't know the grade which I got, I guess it's an A2. So and I'll just give the freshers a few tips. Don't be sleepy in class and don't play in class. Half my friends used to play Clash Royale or whatnot in class. They used to use their cell phone sitting at the end. Some people use cell phone sitting in the first benches, and even the professors don't care because they actually know how the students would suffer if they do that. They tell you enough, but when you don't listen, no one can do anything. So don't do this in class. Stay attentive in class and have a good competition in class. I think something that actually motivated me to stay attentive in class and answer every question was my friend Shreya. When she was in class, there was this, I still remember this vividly. There was this derivation we were doing in MOS. It was the second moment of area or moment of inertia of a circular disk. So sir explained us a derivation, but we didn't quite like it. So Shreya, what she did was she took the circular disc, took a cross section of that, then the length would be r times this angle is theta, so this is r sine theta, 2r sine theta, and then she took the width as some dx, so r dx would be the area, and she took the area all along and she did the derivation and she got to the right answer. What I did was I had a circular disc, then I took a circular ring about the center, and if the area is pi r square for the disk, then the ring would be 2 pi r dr, and I integrated it and I got to the right answer. So for the same problem in class, while everyone were playing, we could come up with two different derivations apart from what sir has taught us. So basically there were three derivations for the exact same problem. So when you do such kind of stuff in class, that is what actually helps you stay interested in the class. So please be interested in the class, please do such kind of stuff, and that will help you a lot. And have a competition amongst yourselves always. Outside the class, you're friends, you're the best of friends. Inside class, you're battling it out. And while writing the exams, you're the worst enemy you can be. Once the exam is done, you're the best of friends again. So just have that competition in mind. Make sure it is not a bad competition wherein you stop talking to the other person and do such kind of stuff. No, just have this competitive spirit wherein you say, if he or she can do, then why can't I do? So have that in mind. And well, I'll just end the video here. I have to tell you, I used to study right from after lunch. I used to have a nap after lunch and wake up at 4 or something. I used to start studying, have dinner for half an hour, keep studying from 4 to 7, 8:30 or something. 8:30 to 9 was dinner, come back at 9, study from 9 onwards till 12 or something, till about 2:30 at night. Then I used to sleep at 2:30, wake up at 4:30 again. So basically 2 hours of sleep, and then study till 6, go take a bath, come back and study more till about, well, depends on the exam timing. You have to leave half an hour before the exam, or else you won't reach the exam hall. So basically I used to write the exams being half asleep, sleep deprived, my head used to ache, and I don't have the habit of drinking coffee or tea, so that was another headache for me. And so yeah, this is how the exams will be. Just be prepared for it. I think the freshers have to know what the environment in college is like during exams, because I was always curious about it, but I've never actually found a good video on it, so I'm making one myself. Sorry, this video is a bit long, but I hope you found some value of it and you have something in mind when you come to college. And that's all. Have a positive attitude. Just don't say you can't do something if you're stuck in an integral and you don't remember the formula. Have this attitude wherein you say, I know how to derive and get to the answer. If I don't know what the answer is, I won't just stop there. So have this attitude of I can do anything, and that's all the best to all the freshers coming in, and hope to see you soon in Manipal. Thank you, and see you soon in the next one. Bye.